The Supermarine Spiteful was a British Rolls-Royce Griffon-engined fighter aircraft designed by Supermarine to Air Ministry specification F1/43 during the Second World War as a successor to the Spitfire. Design and development. By 1942, Supermarine designers had realized that the characteristics of the Spitfire's wing at high Mach numbers might become a limiting factor in increasing the aircraft's high-speed performance. The main problem was the aeroelasticity of the Spitfire's wing. At high speeds, the relatively light structure behind the strong leading-edge torsion box would flex, changing the airflow and limiting the maximum safe diving speed to 480 miles per hour IAS. If the Spitfire were to be able to fly higher and faster, a radically new wing would be needed. Joseph Smith and the design team were aware of a paper on compressibility, published by A.D. Young of the RAE, in which he described a new type of wing section. The maximum thickness and camber would be much nearer to the mid-chord than conventional airfoils, and the nose section of this airfoil would be close to an ellipse. In November 1942, Supermarine issued specification No. 470, which stated, "A new wing has been designed for the Spitfire with the following objects: 1. To raise as much as possible the critical speed at which drag increases, due to compressibility, becomes serious. 2. To obtain a rate of roll faster than any existing fighter. 3. To reduce wing profile drag and thereby improve performance. The wing area has been reduced to 210 square feet and a thickness chord ratio of 13% has been used over the inner wing where the equipment is stored. Outboard, the wing tapers to 8% thickness chord at the tip." Specification 470 described how the wing had been designed with a straight taper to simplify production and to achieve a smooth and accurate contour. The wing skins were to be relatively thick, aiding torsional rigidity which was needed for good aileron control at high speeds. Although the prototype was to have a dihedral of 3 degree, it was intended that this would be increased in subsequent aircraft. To improve the ground handling, the Spitfire's narrow track, outward retracting undercarriage was replaced with a wider track, inward retracting system. The Air Ministry were impressed by the proposal and, in February 1943, issued specification F1/43 for a single-seat fighter with a laminar flow wing. There was also to be provision made for a wing folding scheme to meet possible fleet air arm requirements. The new fighter was to use a fuselage based on a Spitfire 8. The new wing was fitted to a modified Spitfire 14 NN660, in order to make a direct comparison with the earlier elliptical wing, and was first flown on June 30, 1944 by Geoffrey Quill. Although the new Spitfire speed performance was comfortably in excess of an unmodified Spitfire 14, the new wing displayed some undesirable behavior at the stall which, although acceptable, did not come up to the high standards of Mitchell's earlier elliptical wing. NN660 crashed on September 13, 1944, killing pilot Frank Furlong. No reason for the loss was officially established. In the meantime, the opportunity had been taken to redesign the Spitfire's fuselage, to improve the pilot's view over the nose and to eliminate gross directional instability by using a larger fin and rudder. This instability had been apparent since the introduction of the more powerful Griffon engine. The instability was exacerbated by the increase in propeller blade area due to the introduction of the 4-bladed and subsequent 5-bladed rotor air screws for the next aircraft, NN664. The updated design incorporated the new fuselage and, as it was now substantially different from a Spitfire, the aircraft was named Spiteful. Operational history. The Spiteful was ordered into production as the Spiteful 14, and 150 of the aircraft were ordered. With the advent of jet propulsion, however, the future of high-performance fighters was clearly with a jet fighter, and so the order was later cancelled with only a handful of Spitefuls built. At the time, however, there was some uncertainty over whether jet aircraft would be able to operate from the Royal Navy's aircraft carriers, so it was decided to develop a naval version of the Spiteful, to specification N5/45. Subsequently named Seafong. The Seafong featured folding wingtips, a Sting-type arrestor hook and a Griffon 89 or 90 engine, fed from an extended carburetor air intake driving new Rotor 6-bladed contra-rotating propellers. The first one produced was a converted Spiteful 15, but with the successful operation of the de Havilland Sea Vampire from the carrier HMS Ocean in 1945, the need for the Seaforth disappeared. With the end of the Second World War, Supermarine entered into discussions with Socia Copyright Tar Copyright National de Constructions or Copyright Ronaltiques du Nord about license production of the Spiteful in France, but again the introduction of jet fighters overshadowed the piston engine fighter and the talks came to nothing. Variants: Spiteful FMK 14-19 built, engine, Griffon 69 to 2,375 horsepower, weight, 9,950 pounds, max speed, 483 miles per hour, Spiteful FMK 15, 1 built, converted to Seaforth prototype, engine, Griffon 89 to 2,350 horsepower, weight, 10,200 pounds, max speed, 476 miles per hour, Spiteful FMK 16, 2 built, simple, 3-speed Griffon conversions from FMK 14s, engine, Griffon 101 to 2,420 horsepower, weight, 9,950 pounds, max speed, 494 miles per hour at 28,500 feet, 408 miles per hour at sea level, Seaforth FMK 31, 8 built, engine, Griffon 61, Seaforth FMK 32-10 built, engine, Griffon 89 to 2,350 horsepower. Jet Spiteful. In late 1943 or early 1944, Supermarine's chief designer Joe Smith suggested Supermarine develop a simple jet fighter based around the Spiteful's wing, and use a new jet engine being proposed by Rolls-Royce. This proposal was accepted and a new specification, E10/44, was issued by the Air Ministry for an experimental aircraft which was initially referred to as the Jet Spiteful. The prototype TS-409 first flew on July 27, 1946. The E10/44 was not ordered by the RAF, as its performance was not substantially better than the Gloucester Meteor and de Havilland Vampire, but the Admiralty expressed an interest in the aircraft for use as a naval fighter and issued specification E1/45 around it. The aircraft was subsequently named Attacker and had a short career with the Fleet Air Arm and the Pakistan Air Force. Spiteful tail. The enlarged fin rudder of the Spiteful was also used on the Spitfire Mark 22 and 24s and Spitfire Mark 46 and 47 and was usually referred to as the Spiteful type tail. Operators: United Kingdom, Royal Air Force. Specifications. Data from Supermarine aircraft since 1914, general characteristics, crew, 1, length, 32 feet 11 inches, wingspan, 35 feet 0 in, height, 13 feet 5 in, wing area, 210 FTA squared, empty weight, 7,350 pounds, max takeoff weight, 9,950 pounds, power plant, 1 Rolls-Royce Griffon 69 V12 engine, 2,375 horsepower, performance, maximum speed, 483 miles per hour at 21,000 feet, range, 564 miles, service ceiling, 42,000 feet, rate of climb, 4,890 feet per minute, armament, guns, 4 20mm Hispano Mk5 cannons, rockets, 8 to 12 3-inch 60 pounds rocket projectiles, bombs, 2 1,000 pounds bombs. See also, related development, Supermarine Spitfire, Supermarine Seaforth, Supermarine Attacker, aircraft of comparable role, configuration and era, CA-15, Hawker Sea Fury, Martin Baker MB-5, Messerschmitt Me 309, North American P-51 Mustang. References, notes. Citations. Bibliography. External links, Spiteful and E10/44, Spiteful profile and photo, Vickers Supermarine Spiteful a 1945 flight article.